We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Memphis Spence gives us his top 16 around college football. He will be joining us at 7:30. Memphis is a very accomplished person, obviously voting for the top 16. Multiple things that he votes for around college football. We'll get his thoughts not only on LSU, but we'll get his thoughts as well around college football. So really looking forward to Memphis Spence, who has been a fan favorite on this show, joining us here at 7:30. Things that I want to see happen on Saturday. I've had a lot of people DM me. I've had a lot of people message into the YouTube chat, Facebook chat. Well, Blake, we're just playing Southern. What do you really expect? You mean like what Florida State did to Duquesne in week 0, and you thought that they were ass when we here on this show told you that they weren't? There are things that you can see in film and on the field that will show if LSU is progressing or not. I think that they will this week. And not only do I think that they will this week, I also believe that we're going to start making some strides. Some things I'm hearing coming out of practice of the focus and intensity ramping up this week around LSU. So if that is the case, let's see what they do here on Saturday. So I'll give you some key points. I'm not going to break it down X's and O's wise. It's going to be more up here. It's going for everybody listening on the radio or you're listening to us on the audio podcast platform. I'm pointing to my head. Things that are mental. We'll touch on that as well. By the way, in case you missed it, Brian Kelly went viral again. Now, we touched on this a little bit back last night, but guys, I got to tell you, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of some of the guys at Barstool thinking they know about number 1, the SEC, number 2, about Louisiana, and number 3, about LSU fans because they did a podcast one time with Ed Orgeron. You don't know LSU just because you did a podcast with a head coach. I'm sick and tired of this, oh, look at me BS. You got Stephen A. Smith on whatever his show's called these days. First Take. Rambling on about Brian Kelly over something that was a joke and should have been taken a joke. We will fire that off in the Ruffino's Rants. Guys, it's time to put this shit to an end. It's time for the wave of LSU fans when stupidity, and I'm talking about absolute stupidity. When people come after your program, you go back at them. You know how to shut them up? Tell them to shut up. Why do you think they don't go over to Bama and Saban? Saban dances in recruits' houses. We'll get into the Brian Kelly scaff or gaffe or joke that was yesterday now that it's blowing up. See, I've mentioned this. I've mentioned this 4 times in 2 weeks. 4 times in 2 weeks. Guys, I hate doing this part. I want to talk about football, but we don't have a choice because of stupidity. Stupidity. So we'll talk about that as well. Stick up for him. He doesn't have to be here. And then we'll go around SEC week 2. Obviously, we have the Saturday morning shows where we're doing all around the SEC. Yes, we talk about LSU on there as well. But looking forward to Saturday morning, man. My co-host Joe DeLone, Jenna Duddleton, and Marcus Lattimore will be joining us Saturday morning here at 9 a.m. So it's going to be fun. We go around the SEC. We talk to a lot of SEC legends from around the Southeastern Conference. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun. So tune in Saturday morning as well. Let's get to a couple comments, though, before we do get started. Jason says, hashtag ask, like, how did a Brian Kelly coach team look so poorly coached this past weekend, and how long will it take to right the ship? Well, Jason, we talked about this a lot last night, right? I mean, look, guys, at some point, it's got to come down to execution. It's got to come down to execution. And I thought that both coordinators called a pretty good game. You got to execute. Guys, I've said this 1,000 times. I've said it till I'm blue in the face. The eye in the sky don't lie. When you got wide receivers wide open and your quarterback is in the pocket running for his life, guys, there's multiple videos on social media where Jaden's taking the snap and he's not even in his third step yet. Guys, he's not even in the third step to make the proper progressions, to his footwork and his footwork ready to go to fire a rifle to Jack Besh or Booty, whoever, and he's got to get outside the pocket because he's got so much pressure. And 99, guys, how crazy is this stat? 92% of the pressure came from the outside. 92%, meaning your interior was pretty damn good. We'll talk about that in the keys to victory here against Southern, things that we want to see. I see this. Some people are saying, who is this? Eric Wright says Stephen A. stuck up for BK. I understand that. What I said was, it's even getting to whatever Stephen A.'s show is. Guys, that comment has no business hitting the desk of Stephen A. Smith. Zero business. But you have people out here who are doing these things for clicks, then going on Twitter and saying, hey, you didn't tag me in a video it's not even yours. The people putting it on Twitter, that's not even their video. It's official LSU video, and they're copying and pasting it on Twitter, on TikTok for likes and views. Yet it makes LSU look like they get a black eye in all of this and that the fan base is turned on him. I honestly thought that this shit would be done with by now. I guess I was wrong. Chad says, I love those keyboard, I love these behind the keyboard coaches, never put on a jock strap. Yeah. Travis, I get it. You're not listening like you normally don't. You're not listening. It should not get to his desk. It's his show. If you think that Marcus Spears and Stephen A. Smith didn't talk about it, you're crazy. Because we do an hour and a half long pre-production video, and I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I'm not ESPN. This Pooh Bear says right here, it's unprofessional. You're damn right it's unprofessional. The mayor on YouTube says winning shuts everything up. He or she, I don't know what the mayor is, but you're damn right. Okay. Since we do have a lot to get into, maybe they will cut my pep talk up to the team here tonight and to the fan base. Maybe they'll clip it and put it on the LSU video, since everybody likes to get likes and clicks and shares and shit. Anyway. Okay, everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. There's so many of you listening to us live right now here on Facebook. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Hit the like and hit the share. Share to all of those social media groups. About 200 of you, man. That's a lot of you in here early already. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. We greatly appreciate it. Share to all of your social media pages as well. If you're listening to us on the XM Radio or on the TuneIn app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast, wherever you listen to the playback, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, go and subscribe to our AYS message board. That's AYSSnetwork.com, AYSSnetwork.com/forum, and sign up today. Okay, so let's do this. Let's pay some bills around this thing. We got a lot that we have to get into, and then we'll get started. Let's talk about our good friends over at GM Varno and Sons and betonline.ag. Guys, we return in 1 minute. Got a lot to discuss. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons, go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Eric on Facebook says, as much as I like Coach O, he left us struggling for sure. We'll take a minute to get back to where we belong. I completely agree with you there. Eric, I completely agree. So everybody do us a favor. Like I said, hit the like and share. Stop, collaborate, and listen. Do your boy a favor. Hit the like and share. Brandon Reese says, yeah, Josh Pate actually been on the BK bandwagon since day one. Okay. I love Josh. I love Josh to death. He's been on the show multiple times. Jason Brumfield says, I like what Josh Pate said about LSU. Golly, got a whole bunch of Josh Pate comments in here. Jamie says, gotta block, and running backs gotta find a way to run the football. That will slow down the rush. I agree with that. King Ulysses says, I think coach might want to reconsider taking a certain linebacker and changing his position. If you're talking about Harold Perkins, I think that's really interesting. I don't know there, King Ulysses. I mean, maybe if it gets bad enough, you got John Emery returning after next week. He'll return for the Mississippi State game. So we'll see. I think it would take a lot for him to get caught up to speed. Maybe you have a package for him or something. Maybe if it's a late game, you do something. But I don't know. I don't know. All right, one more, then we'll get rolling. We'll get this thing started, y'all. Andrew Martin says this week should be a bounce back, patch up any holes, and get ready to tear apart State. Yeah, I agree. And guys, this is the game, and we'll talk about this in just a little bit, about 5-10 minutes. You gotta take everything that you need to work on out on them. Guys, if LSU wins by 20, I'm okay with it. If they only win by 20 and they're trying to work out kinks and then they fix those kinks, I'm okay with it. Right? Like, I think LSU's going to beat Southern more than 20. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, right? Like, I want them to get the issues fixed out. The final score has nothing to do with what LSU needs to work on to have a productive season. The final score against Southern means nothing. It really means nothing. Now, it means something if you lose, right? I mean, because you can't obviously lose that game. But figure out what you need to do. And I'll say this, too, before we talk about this Ruffino's rant. I've been told by multiple people that have been at practice, because it's been closed off to the media, and I'm still picking up the phone and asking questions. We were at all the scrimmages and most practices. I was told that the intensity was brought up a lot today. The focus was brought up a lot today. The attention to detail. And look, man, this was always going to get worse before it got better. And quite honestly, why I had been saying for months, guys, I think we're going 8-4. I think that is a really good bet. I still think that that's a good thing. I still think that they can get to that goal. I still think that LSU can accomplish some of the things that they want to accomplish. If LSU wins 8 games in the regular season and then they go into a bowl game and win it, guys, that is a very productive season. That goes to show you that Brian Kelly's worth 3 wins. He is worth those 3 wins. But here's the thing. I hope his team's not listening to a lot of the outside noise. I don't think that they are. But guys, this is the part of my job that I really don't like. I really, really don't like. You may think that I do. I really don't. If you missed it yesterday, Brian Kelly was early to a press conference, but if I'm not mistaken, we were told you're always told to be there around 11:30. Our doors open at 11:30. Brian Kelly starts his press conference off early. Leah Vann of The Advocate walked in, and Brian Kelly made a very simple joke. A very simple joke of, if you guys are late, I'm going to charge you $10. We're going to put it in a potluck. And at the end of the season, I will bring you guys over to my house and we'll use that money to spend it on something. And then Leah Vann, who covers LSU baseball and LSU football for The Advocate, would then come out and say, well, if you win a game, I'll show up on time. Now, per her, Brian Kelly didn't take any offense to it. Per her, it was just a joke. Per her, they made up. But guys, this doesn't stop what happens in the national media. Guys, Saturday can't get here quick enough. If you haven't been noticing, and I'm going to tag this, and I'm probably going to get a lot of stoolies, people from Barstool, jumping down my throat. I really don't care. I saw a clip today and was sent it multiple times that the guys over at Barstool, Big Cat, who and look, I think those guys do a terrific job. I really do. This isn't a shot at them and what they do. But they said something to the equivalent of that after this with Leah Vann, that things were trending like buyout in the bayou, insinuating that we wanted to buy out Brian Kelly's contract because he lost to Florida State. And I see some people in the SEC, or some people that cover the SEC, saying, oh, well, it's just different in the SEC. Well, number one, to Barstool Big Cat, nobody around here is doing a hashtag. And we went and looked it up. Myself and the team went and looked it up. There was only 4 mentions of Bayou Buyout that had nothing revolving around Brian Kelly. Just because you interviewed LSU's former head coach and you've been to Baton Rouge once does not mean that people know what it means to be in the bayou. And I hope they hear this. They're going to get tagged in it, I promise you. Be realistic. Guys, he's only coached 1 freaking game here. And to the other people saying it's just different in the SEC, Brian Kelly's in over his head. Guys, he coached against Florida State in week 1 a season ago at Notre Dame. Guys, Saturday against Southern can't get here quick enough. Because the truth is, and this isn't to Eric Dooley, and Brian Kelly probably doesn't even listen to all of this crap about what's going on Twitter. You got to go out there this Saturday and make a statement. You got to go out against State and make a statement. You do. All this in-house fighting of I'll show up on time to a press conference when you win a game. Bro, what if Brian Kelly said he will let you into his press conference when you write a good article or you do a good podcast or you do something great on the radio? We at times are our own worst enemies because this little clip has no business making national news. None. When I will show up early when you win a game. Can we, for once, for the one time, for over the last 3 seasons, respect the man that everybody in this chat, to the 400 plus live listeners that are watching us right now, you're not in this chat if this doesn't apply to you. Guys, everybody in here would love to be the head coach at LSU. Guys, that position is being the top dog. When you're the head coach at LSU in this state, you're the top dog. Especially when you're winning. Especially when you're winning. I hate this part of my job that I got to come out here and, I guess, defend Brian Kelly. I don't have to defend him. What I'm doing is having to defend LSU. Guys, we come in here and we joke, we jive, we play around a lot. You know, I sit here and talk about clapping cheeks. I sit here and call people Rudy Poos. We say pause after you say stuff like balls. We like to have fun. I'm dead serious here, guys. At some point, we as a fan base have to put our foot down and say, I hope you're not around kids, but you got to give them this right here. I'm not going to say it. You got to tell them to shove this where the sun doesn't shine. No pause. At some point, we have to. Now, I talked about the players yesterday. You have to draw the line in the sand. At some point as a fan base, we have to draw the line in the sand. Like, oh, you want to talk shit? You want to run your mouth? You want some gangsters in front of your house? Call me Boosie. Bring that shit here. Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Devin White, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Lloyd Cushenberry, Sadiq Charles. Those dudes would never allow this kind of shit to happen. Joe Burrow gets his clock cleaned. Gets his clock absolutely cleaned against UCF, against a Rudy Poo who blindsided him. And what did he do for this freaking state? He needed stitches. He went and got them. He buckled up his chin strap and he said, bring that shit here, boy. Like my name, what's the dude from Wild and Out? What's his name? Pooh Bear, help me out. Hold on, I'm going to bring you up, Pooh. What's your boy's name from Wild and Out? Pooh, what's the dude's name from Wild and Out?
DC Young Fly.
Thank you, DC Young Fly. Bring that shit here, boy. At some point, you got to stick your chest out and say, we are LSU. Hey, Oklahoma, you remember when you got your cheeks clapped in 19? Remember when Lincoln Riley got his cheeks clapped? Remember when good old Jesus-loving Dabo got his cheeks clapped in a natty? Let's revert. Remember when the sweater vest tried to come in the dome and say some shit to LSU? All night long up and down the field. But yet we allow stupid shit like this in a press conference. Jokes or no jokes? Jokes or no jokes? Gloves are off. I lost my pencil. I lost my pencil. I don't know what I'm going to ask Memphis now. I got all my notes here. I've been scribbling the shit out of all of it. I hope Memphis can carry this show because I don't even know what I'm going to tell him anymore. Chris, the Sweater Fest was Jim Tressel. Tell me I'm lying, guys. Two things, and then we're getting to Memphis Spence. Because we're going to go around. I'm going to give first, when he gets in here, when he get his thoughts on LSU, we'll go around college football. Talking about cheeks getting clapped. Somebody better find the Affleck duck because the Georgia Bulldogs put it on them, boy. Two things, and we'll get to him. So you want to know what I want to see? It has nothing to do with X's and O's. Nothing to do with X's and O's. The game is apparently sold out. Guys, I have not been this excited for a game since 2019 National Championship. Southern comes to town. Well, how do I say Southern comes to town? Southern goes across the street. You're going to lose halftime. LSU is going to get their cheeks cut during halftime. I'm sorry. I love the Golden Band from Tigerland. They're not the human jukebox. I pray that this game reunites LSU, lights the fire underneath them. I want to see them fight. I don't care what the final score is. I mean, I will care if they lose. They're not going to lose. I want to just go out there and watch an LSU team layeth the smack it down on somebody's candy ass. Because it's been too long. It's been way too long. LSU beat Central Michigan a year ago, 42-16. Guys, that wasn't a butt whipping. That's you throwing it up to Kayshon Boutte and say, please, God, I hope he comes down with it. We got to get our swagger back. Play swag surfing. Turn it all the way up. Man, I got that swag. That polo down my back. Pooh Bear, I'm bringing you up again. Am I a great singer?
Will I get fired if I answer truthfully?
Yes.
You are an excellent singer.
You lying son. You lying son of a gun. Poor Pooh. I put him in impossible situations. Okay. Let's talk more LSU. Let's talk with your. I had somebody tell me this morning. This is in, and I forgot to get Pooh Bear and Zach to bring up the clip. We had a YouTube listener last night saying, Blake, I'm kind of tired of listening to you. Can you bring back Memphis? Okay, sounds good. Here we go. I don't know why you're saying that because he's fantastic. So let's do this. Let's talk about our good friends over at Gramco, thegramco.com. Guys, use that promo code AYS25 at checkout. We will be back in 1 minute with the GOAT himself, Memphis Spence, next. Guys, I've got to talk to you about our good friends over at Gramco. They are the Delta 8 company based out of the state of Florida. They're founded by college football junkies just like you and I am not sure if you're familiar with Delta 8, but you need to be. Gramco is the absolute leader in this field, and they have phenomenal products that I just need to tell you about. First off is the Wake and Bake coffee that is absolutely spectacular. The gummies are as well, as they're the best in the market. So go to thegramco.com right now and use the promo code AYS25. That's thegramcode.com, AYS25 promo code to get 25% off of your order. Jump on this fast as it is perfect for holidays, anniversaries, and everyday use. Gramco is hemp-derived and completely legal inside of the state of Louisiana. No medical card is needed, and shipping is very discreet. You must be 21 years older to order. Again, that's thegramcode.com. Use that promo code AYS25. The GOAT himself, Memphis Spence, is joining us. You're shaking your head. What did I do? What did I do?
You didn't do anything, man. But LSU does need their swag back. That's the truth. Y'all got to come out there against Southern too. As a matter of fact, your band better be better than Southern's. Everything must be better than Southern. And I don't know if that can happen, but your band better be better. Everything has to be better against Southern.
We ain't going to be better than the human jukebox. Kevin, thank you so much for the stars. We ain't going to be better than them. I'll tell you this, though. Memphis, I was playing a game. I want to say we were playing Pooh Bear. Is it Prairie View A&M? Is Prairie View A&M a HBCU? We played at HBCU.
Yeah.
Memphis, I got to be – they was hitting the stanky leg up in the stands. Bro, I was hitting the stanky leg on the field. I ain't watched that thing in 25 days. Got me more crunk than I know what to do with. Okay?
Man.
It was electric. It was electric.
We get down.
I was pop blocking, dropping it all the way down the field. I mean, I'm just telling you. It was electric. So, look, Memphis, let me ask you this question first.
Yeah.
We talked about Jaden Daniels the last time you were here. So, let's start off here.
Yeah.
How impressive is that young man?
Listen, man, Jaden Daniels, what he did with what he had and the preparation, I think he did a good job. Overall, I think he did a good job. Of course, there's things that he could have done better, but given the situation of the offensive line, I think he did a great job. You know, the offensive line, you're gonna have to get out there, Blake. You're gonna have to get out there, Blake, and start coaching them up. Because I saw, and you know something, what tipped me off to, I saw some problems. Okay, there are generally a few teams that are always on the Outland Trophy watch list with offensive linemen. LSU is one of them. You know that Georgia, Alabama, Texas used to be. Texas every now and then. Ohio State, you know, I mean, you always have these dudes coming from these schools that, you know, are offensive linemen, scouts are looking at them. This year I didn't see one for LSU, and I was like, that's weird. Why aren't we looking at any offensive linemen for LSU this year? Then I watched the game, man. And I was like, oh no, nope. On the first block, I was like, nope. The second one was just unconceived. I don't remember the last time I watched two blocks in the same game, two block kicks in the same game on the same team. It was disappointing.
Alabama, Tennessee. Remember the kick?
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's the one that comes to my mind. Big Terrence Cody going through the middle and blocking them. You know, the crazy thing is we did a film study, and in the film study, it's not the interior. It's the tackle play, which is even wilder than anything.
You're right. Because, you know, your conventional thinking is your best players are at those tackle positions, right? Mm-hmm. You know, your center and your tackles are supposed to be the best offensive linemen on your squad, not your guards. In college, that is. In the NFL, everybody's, you know, 100%. But in college, your two tackles and your center are supposed to be the best players, and the problems seem to stem from those positions. So I was a little, and the thing is, Brian Kelly always has good lines. I don't know what when he started Jalen, I was like, okay, that's a signal to me. He needs a mobile quarterback right now. He needs somebody. I didn't know it was because he probably already knew what was going on the line. He probably already knew. He probably needed some fuel to eat into, some of the folks, some of the practice habits and everything else going on. And he got that. I think the next 4 games, I'll probably say the next 4 games are LSU's. I don't know what's going to go on with that Tennessee game, but the next 4 games, I think could be LSU's. Even with Will.
Hey, you're a wise man because so there's an Italian in Louisiana with a really nice beard, really great family.
Mm-hmm.
Same exact thing last night. His last name ends in an O.
Really?
Yeah.
I know a guy, that he's a really cool Italian, man. He invited me for some gumbo, but I haven't gotten any yet.
Well, you got to come get the gumbo here because I can't ship grandma's goodness. Okay. I mean, the gumbo here is good. Look, it's like grandma's cookies. It's always good, baby. I mean, so
I bet.
All right. So what was, when you were watching the game Sunday outside of the offensive line, what was there something that surprised you about LSU? And to go counteract that, you've covered this game a long time. Was there anything from Florida State that surprised you?
With Florida State, yes and no, because I know Norvell, but backwards and forwards.
Yeah, because you were. And to preface, Memphis, to rudely interrupt you, you're a Memphis alum. You love Memphis, and Mike Norvell was the head coach there. Just to give some preface. Exactly.
This is a little context. I know him backwards and forwards. I've interviewed him before. I knew he was going to give LSU another opportunity late because that's just his MO. He just does that. He does not know how to finish games. And I was just like, why are you pitching the ball on the 1 yard line? I couldn't even, why even put that play in? And that was him. He called that play. That is a Norvell play. And I'm like, man, he did it again. He opened up the door for LSU. Now, the cool thing is, at that point in time, we saw what Jaden Daniels was, 99 yards, right? We had a flash of, hey, this guy's cool under pressure. He can, if the line gives him enough time, or if the defense is tired enough, he can get through more than 2 reads, right?
And he's really good and accurate passer.
Right. Better than he's given credit for. Now, I know he was running for his life at Arizona State, and if you go back and look at that film, he was just he's used to running for his life. Basically, they didn't have any line over there. That's why all those quarterbacks, they go somewhere else. They get to Arizona State and say, "Oh my God, ain't nobody protecting me. I gotta get somewhere else." And they go somewhere else. It's a revolving door now. But I saw what I needed to see from him to let me know what the future of this season is with Jake. He can do it. What surprised me though is there are a lot of receivers that seem to not have their head in the game, and that's rare for LSU. I expected the mental gymnastics to be on FSU because they'd done nothing but fail up to this point. They've never won. That was Norvell's biggest win. I kid you not. That in his career, that was his biggest win. He always beats the teams he's supposed to. The man's never beat UCF. The man's never beat. There are a whole lot of. He's beat Cincinnati, but he's never beat UCF. That was the biggest win that he's ever had, and I knew he was going to open the door at the end. He did, and Jaden took advantage of that. We probably would have a different conversation if somebody knew how to make sure to block inside and punch out.
Oh, God.
You remember that from high school? Block inside, punch out. That's all you have to do. Knock the guy off the balance, that's coming on the outside, and block inside. That's honestly high school stuff, which is
honestly, Memphis, that's junior high first day install, dude. I mean, they're teaching you that at 11 and 12. I mean, that's not. This is something that it's just like it's baffling. Memphis, it's baffling.
The mistakes that were made, I was beside myself. The missed opportunities on the punts, Man, it happens to the best of them, right?
Right.
But
I went back and watched Devin Hester did it twice in a game. Then the third one, though, he took it to the house, so it's all fine and dandy. Nobody remembers him off punts,
Right. But those are mistakes that I'm like, okay, was that a mistake? Yes. Does he feel bad about it? Yes. Is he going to fix that? Yes. I ain't got to worry about that.
Right.
What's going on with this offensive line? Because if you can't, that's an assignment that you can never miss. You can never miss blocking inside. You should instinctively look inside first. And I when I saw that, I was just like, again? You can't continuously make these mistakes. And those are the mistakes that I saw on the line that I was like, oh no. And if there was anything, I'm not a really good read of what's going on in the mind of Brian Kelly, but if there's anything that probably burned him up, it was those types of mistakes. He probably went back and looked at the line and looked at the opportunities that were missed down the field because Jayden had to pick it up and haul off, but he can. That's a good thing. He can. But, there were some missed opportunities down the field just because he couldn't get to his second or third read, which was open, by the way. If you go back and look, there were a lot of open guys, and they were getting frustrated because they weren't getting the ball, and they got their head out of the game, and it all kind of played into each other throughout the rest of the game. That's what I saw. And it all started with the line. There was somebody, I forgot, some Mizzou fan or whatnot was talking about, oh, no, the line doesn't matter and this, that, and the other. I was like, everything starts with the line. Mm-hmm. If you can't block up front in college, in the NFL, it's over. But if you can't block up front in college and do it consistently for 5 seconds, at least 90% of the time, you're not going to win any games. You need to get up there and give that man at least 4 to 5 seconds to get through his reads and then make a decision in college. In the NFL, it's 3 seconds. You got to be able to hold those blocks at least for 3 seconds. In college, 5. If you can give that man 5 seconds, he'll get through those reads and make a decision. And Jayden looked better than he did at ASU from what I remember.
So two things. I understand their frustration because when they turn around, all they see is Jayden Daniels running. But when they popped on that film Monday and they were like, oh, well, I was wide open, but he's also getting hit in the face, so I've heard that there was, but Kayshon Boutte's got to catch that first pass in the end zone, the fade when nobody's touching him. Memphis, I want you to, as a voter of the top 16, I kind of want you to preach this to our fans a little bit too. A lot of times we get into this lull of only looking at the talent that your team has, meaning LSU has multiple 4 stars, multiple 5 stars. They have a lot of in-state talent, and we look at that so much, and we never look at, number one, the team as a collective whole, and number two, we don't look at the teams that we're playing at a high level. When you look at teams in the top 16, outside of like your Georgias and Bamas, okay, because that's just a different breed.
Right.
When you look at a team like Baylor, they don't have more talent than LSU, but they're a better team. When you're voting, how does your mind wrap around, and what, I guess basically I'm asking you for the formula in a sense, like how do you dictate that if my question's making sense in that regard?
It does. And I basically put it like this, man. Both your mom and my mom can get down in the kitchen. Our grandmas can whip up something.
Big belly for nothing.
And they always got the right ingredients in there. But if I try to get in there and try and whip it up, I can't do it like they can do it, right? You could have the same ingredients and not be able to make the same thing that your mom or your grandma can hook up. It's the same thing with talent. You can have the same talent and not be able to reproduce the recipe. You have to have, now I can make some darn good chili. You give me the right ingredients. I get my ingredients for some chili. I'll have everybody lit. So if you give me my ingredients that I need, I can make what I make. And it's the same thing in
Brian Kelly if you gave him the ingredients, but never mind. Just continue.
That's what I'm saying. If you give Brian Kelly the guys that he needs for his playbook, he has a playbook. Let's be honest. A coach that season has a playbook. He knows what he wants to do. Is he change it up a little bit? Of course, he has to. He has to get with his offensive coordinator and say, hey, we're going to do a little something different.
Spread it out more than they did at Notre Dame. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's not the Brian Kelly that people have come to know.
No. The play calling, I was like, okay, this is different for him, and I was wondering why it was so different, because there are a whole lot of power looks that he usually gives you. He has teams that, line up, especially around the goal line, and start bullying you over. That wasn't the case here. And I was like, well, okay. There's some deficiencies, not at talent, but at execution. Bingo. On the offensive line. And a lot of things come down to execution, man. They're a very talented team. You can look over at the Lakers and man, there's a whole lot of talented people on the Lakers. Why aren't they winning any games? Execution and whether or not everything goes together. If the pieces don't fit, you're not going to win any games. And that's what the team part of this is a team sport. Jaden Daniels can be as accurate as he wants to, but if you only give him 2 seconds, there's not a quarterback in college that can complete passes with 2 seconds. You're never going to get to that third read streak and open with 2 seconds. There's not a drop back for 2 seconds. You can come out of shotgun, but 2 seconds, man, that's usually the time that you throw the ball. That's your delivery time is those 2 seconds. You need at least a couple of seconds to read the field. So it's an offensive line problem. Once they fix that, I think everything is okay, except there's a major injury on the defensive line.
Yeah, with Mason Smith, right?
Major. He was on my Bronco Nagurski watch list, and when I saw him, I was like, "That's who I'm here to see." He's just gone? And I think people forget about that at the beginning of the game. Like, the first round draft pick is out. And that changed the game entirely. There were so many times where I was like, okay, what's now that the defensive line has gotten a little bit weaker, FSU is not going to have a time blocking. They're going to get reads down the field. I saw passes complete that I was like, yeah, I know Mason's not here. Mm-hmm. Mason's through the line. Mason causes enough trouble. That a lot. You could probably subtract 10 completions.
At least disruptive, right? I mean,
at least 10 completions from that game if he was in it. At least.
So
that's how disruptive he is.
Let me say this: there was in the first half, I was like, well, LSU kind of just needs a break. And when they got the roughing the passer and the pass interference, they literally had 3 drives of 75 yards or plus and had 21 points in less than 4 minutes.
Yep.
That momentum is a crazy mother. So we'll see. Memphis, 2 questions, and I got to get you out of here. My mom's got a question for you.
Okay.
So I think it's a good one. I kind of want to know it myself because I love this young man that she's talking about. But let's go around college football very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia to me, look, Memphis, I'm going to ask you kind of a 2-part question. Number one, is Georgia more dangerous now that the mailman Stetson Bennett, or what I have been calling him since he got the fade, the Boosie fade, Sequavius, are they more complete and dangerous this season than a season ago? And then number 2, who was your surprise team that came out and you were like, oh, okay, no, maybe I was a little down on them, but I got to put them up there. I would say that it was Florida, but I turn it over to you. What do you think about, Georgia and the team maybe that surprised you the most?
To your Florida, Florida is exactly who I thought they would be. What everybody whiffed on was Utah. Huh. I looked at, I was like, man, everybody has Utah ranked high. Everybody has them ranked higher than BYU. I didn't. I had BYU higher. I know BYU is a better team than Utah. I put Utah because of what they accomplished last year. They were in my top 16. I think I had them at like 13, 14, somewhere around there. But they weren't they weren't 7. There was nothing about Utah that made me think, hey, this is the 7th best team in the country. Okay, based on accomplishments and everybody was coming back. Okay, maybe they're 13, 14, somewhere around there. I have to look at it. I had Tennessee somewhere around like 19, 20. I had LSU. I told you that, somewhere in between 20 and 25. So it wasn't like, they were that much better than those teams. They were on the top 10 team. Florida is a little bit they're a little bit more seasoned than I thought they would be. I think they've arrived a little bit faster than I thought they would be, but that was a game that I thought that they would win. There wasn't anything about the way that Florida plays in the swamp and Utah. They're not gonna beat Utah. Georgia is. I was mentioning this on another show, and I was trying to get people to understand that Georgia's better than they were last year. And I think I said something alluding to that on your show, like the dudes that were sitting behind, they had 5-star and 4-star, high 4-star guys on the bench last year, guys.
Yeah, they had 3 5-star defensive linemen that are starting this year.
On the bench. And when I saw them practicing last year, I was like, oh my God, these dudes are actually better than who's starting. But the guys that were starting, they got love because, hey, they were going to be NFL players. They had seniority. Okay, I get it, Kirby. But the guys in practice behind them, and I was telling everybody, like, no. The defense this year, the thing that Georgia was just sick last year was Georgia was extremely deep. Like 5-star goes off, 5-star comes on. Guy that runs a 4-2 at corner goes off. Guy that runs a 4-3 at corner comes on.
A true freshman, by the way.
Right. And I was just like, and that's why I came on last year. And I was like, well, I can't figure, like, Georgia's defense is so good. I can't see how they can't win a national championship. Well, then they went on and did it. This year, I'm looking around like, I don't know anybody that's going to beat that defense. There's Alabama included. I don't know if it's going to be. They would have to have a massive amount, like 4 or 5 injuries before they start coming down to the level at which other teams could actually regularly beat them. And if they start putting offense together with it, because I thought they would start winning games, in the 20s, like they were last year. They start dropping 50 points on folks, then it's over. That math just doesn't. If Bennett is that good, and that was a surprise. If there's any surprise, how well he came out and played was much more of a surprise than anything else I saw in Georgia.
It's DeQuavius. Okay, it's because I'm telling you, he's got a swag about it. Look, Memphis, you can be a great college quarterback and not be a pro prospect.
That's true.
I will say this. I said it on my Saturday morning show before Florida kicked the ball off. Mm-hmm. I placed a $10 bet on BetOnline that Anthony Richardson wins the Heisman because I'm like, I'll just lose $10 if I lose it. I'm going to tell you something, Memphis. If there's anybody in their regular season that can beat them, it would be him because of everything that he can do. And yes. I got roasted for months, and me and you had this conversation. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. Because people don't watch football. And
no,
me and you
not like we do.
No, they don't watch football games and break down game tape in June like we're doing. Okay, that kid can play. Memphis, last one for you, and then we'll get you out of here because you're always fantastic. My mother, says #Ask Memphis. Did you ever meet Josh Perry, who played at Memphis? He is from A-Meet, and I taught him.
I know exactly who he is, but I've never met him. I've never met him, but I guarantee you we can find him and come over if he cooking. We'll find some time.
So listen, when you come here and you go to A-Meet, because Memphis has brought in a couple of A-Meet kids in Louisiana. We'll go to breakfast, Memphis. We'll go to this place called Master Chef, and there's this young sweet lady at the front who ain't got no 2 front teeth, and you tell her you want a biscuit, and she goes, you want a butter biscuit? And then she'll say, you want a salsa biscuit? And it's the best thing you've ever eaten. Then
if she talks like that, it's good.
Oh man,
she got nothing to talk about with the biscuits. It's gonna be.
I brought my wife. And look, she couldn't even get the biscuit out the wrapper before I'm like, you better hurry up, dog, because that biscuit about to go bye-bye. I'm telling you.
Blake, you done got me hungry late at night, man.
Hey, go drink the waters. Go drink the waters on your desk.
I'm not supposed to eat after a certain time, man. I'm trying to lose this gut, you know.
Hey, man. Never mind. I ain't gonna say it because Lord forgive me. We're a couple of days closer to Sunday, so I gotta be careful. Memphis.
Look, LSU has the next 4.
I said that last night.
Ask
our producer. I said that last night, and look, I hadn't been wrong yet, but we'll see. My brother. Hey, tell everybody, and I keep not doing this. Tell everybody I listen to your shows, and I need to get better at letting people know where they can find all your stuff. Where can they find all your content?
Sports Radio America, man. I'm live on Mondays and Thursdays, noon to 2 Eastern. If you want to catch us live on Sports Radio America, get me your questions and whatnot beforehand. I'll go live and answer them. I've been doing that for years and years and years, since 2010. So just get at me at Sports Radio America. You can find me at Memphis Spence on the Twitter machine. That's really the only place I am. I think I have an Instagram and I have a Facebook. I'm just never there. I don't even have a chat snap or whatever. I don't know what I don't do any of that stuff. But you can catch me on Twitter. I'm always running around, answering people's questions, mixing it up and whatnot. So that's
how we met. Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. On the Twitter machine.
We'll talk soon. Thank you so much. I can't ship them, dog, because here's the truth. You just gonna have to come down here because if I buy you a biscuit, I'm eating it. I'm just it ain't making it to the mailbox. It ain't making it to the mailbox. I can have the best intentions in the world, but it just ain't gonna happen.
Man, I'm gonna have to make my way down there then.
All right.
I'm gonna have to do it.
Game. Be on the sidelines. We'll go hang out on the sidelines. Tell Kelly, run the ball. All right, buddy. We'll see you.
All right, my man.
All right, that's Memphis Spence that's joined us. Guys, let's do this. Let's get to a very, 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 very quick break, and we'll be back in 45 seconds. Let's talk to you about my good friend Carol Falls over at State Farm. We return in 45 seconds. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Just want to say to all the media that watches our show, thank you, Chris. I might have said 45 minutes. I might have said 45 minutes. That's my fault. I meant 45 seconds. All right, let's wrap this up. We'll go around the SEC week 2, and we'll also end it. We'll also talk a little bit of LSU. Guys, listen, and I'll get to a lot of these comments as we close it out here. Listen, we got to go. We got to go out there and just want to. We got to have the want to at some point. Like you got to have the want to that the Florida players have. Guys, that's not Billy Napier. That's the want to of their players. Running the football and creating holes for your running backs to run through is a want to. Guys, I played that position my entire – it's a want to. With that being said, I don't know if Kentucky's offensive line wants to. Their interior offensive line stinks. I think Florida's going to win this weekend. Then you got Alabama going out to Texas. They are going to eat them some fat steaks this weekend. They're going to kill Bovo, the Longhorn or whatever his name is. It's going to get bad. We got to stop worrying about everything that's around us. Stick up for your coach. Give him a chance. You may not like him, but he's what we have. I love him, to be honest. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's going to do great things here. But just to wrap this up, and we'll call it a night, don't let a Rudy Poo at Barstool, don't let a Rudy Poo who never is not from this state and is not an LSU fan dictate to your coach, hey, why don't you go out there and win a game and maybe I show up? Because it's Bush League. Joke or no joke. When you make comments like that at a university and somewhere like LSU, it's going to blow up. Never forget who you are and never forget who LSU is. And Pooh Bear's right. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Till tomorrow, guys. New time tomorrow, 6 o'clock. I'm not going up against Brian Kelly's radio show. Till then, guys, we'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night. Peace out, Girl Scouts.